Let's dive in. When a woman can tune into a man's emotional world without trying to control or fix it, something powerful happens. He begins to feel safe. And safety for a man who often feels pressure to be strong, composed, and impenetrable is rare. It's not always about saying the perfect words or giving the most profound advice. Sometimes the deepest connection is born in silence, in the look you give him when he opens up, the way you nod without rushing to interrupt, the softness in your tone that says, "I'm here, I get it." That kind of emotional presence is rare, and when a man experiences it, it hits him differently. It lingers. We often think attraction is about excitement, about spark, about chemistry, and yes, those things matter. But the kind of connection that makes a man addicted to you isn't just born in the high, it's forged in the quiet, in the depths. Let's dive in. When a woman can tune into a man's emotional world without trying to control or fix it, something powerful happens. He begins to feel safe. And safety for a man who often feels pressure to be strong, composed, and impenetrable is rare. It's not always about saying the perfect words or giving the most profound advice. Sometimes the deepest connection is born in silence, in the look you give him when he opens up, the way you nod without rushing to interrupt, the softness in your tone that says, "I'm here, I get it." That kind of emotional presence is rare, and when a man experiences it, it hits him differently. It lingers. We often think attraction is about excitement, about spark, about chemistry, and yes, those things matter. But the kind of connection that makes a man addicted to you isn't just born in the high, it's forged in the quiet, in the depths. He starts to feel something unfamiliar but deeply comforting: acceptance. And here's the secret: acceptance doesn't make a man weak, it makes him loyal. When a man feels emotionally understood, he associates you with peace. That peace becomes a craving. You become his safe haven, the place where he can finally take off the armor. The world might expect him to be invincible, but around you, he doesn't have to be. That's intoxicating. That's what brings him closer. That's what makes him want more. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be his therapist. It doesn't mean you should carry the weight of all his emotional struggles. What it means is being emotionally attuned, picking up on what's behind his words, reading his energy, noticing when he's off, and gently inviting him to share. It means asking, "What's really going on?" Not with interrogation. He starts to feel something unfamiliar but deeply comforting: acceptance. And here's the secret: acceptance doesn't make a man weak, it makes him loyal. When a man feels emotionally understood, he associates you with peace. That peace becomes a craving. You become his safe haven, the place where he can finally take off the armor. The world might expect him to be invincible, but around you, he doesn't have to be. That's intoxicating. That's what brings him closer. That's what makes him want more. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be his therapist. It doesn't mean you should carry the weight of all his emotional struggles. What it means is being emotionally attuned, picking up on what's behind his words, reading his energy, noticing when he's off, and gently inviting him to share. It means asking, "What's really going on?" Not with interrogation, but with genuine curiosity and compassion. And then, when he opens up, it means holding space, resisting the urge to jump in with advice or criticism, and instead showing that you value what he's feeling. Sometimes the most beautiful thing you can say is, "That must be hard. I see why you'd feel that way. That simple sentence can do more for emotional intimacy than 100 clever insights. Because what people want, what men want, is not always a solution. Sometimes they just want to know someone sees them, really sees them. When you can connect on that level, you create emotional intimacy. And emotional intimacy is the foundation of obsession. A man can get physical attraction anyway. You can find validation, attention, even companionship. But emotional intimacy? That's rare. That's what turns interest into attachment. That's what makes him think about you when he wakes up and miss you when you're not around. Because you're not just someone who adds excitement to his life. You're someone who understands him in a way no one else does. It's not always flashy, it's not always loud, but it's powerful and it's beautiful, because when you're the woman who feels him, who listens not just to his words, but to his silences, who responds not with pressure, but with presence, he doesn't just like you, he needs you. And that's when you become unforgettable. That's when he becomes addicted, not because you chased him or performed for him, but because in a world where everyone wants something from him, you simply saw him. And once a man feels that, he can't go back. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who knows her worth. It's not in how loud she is or how much she demands attention. It's in the quiet confidence that says, I don't need to chase what isn't choosing me. That energy shifts everything. Because when a woman respects herself, a man feels it. It affects how he shows up, how much he values her, and how far he'll go to keep her in his life. Self-respect isn't about being cold or distant. It's not about being unavailable for the sake of appearing powerful. It's about having standards that are non-negotiable and the courage to walk away when those standards aren't met. When a man senses that you won't tolerate breadcrumbs, inconsistency, or disrespect, it challenges him. Not in a way that pushes him away, but in a way that wakes him up. He realizes he can't coast. He can't take you for granted. You're not like everyone else who lowers their standards just to keep a connection alive. You'd rather be alone than poorly treated. And that makes you rare. The truth is, most people tolerate things they shouldn't. They stay in conversations that go nowhere. They entertain mixed signals. They excuse behavior that chips away at their confidence. But a woman who is grounded in self-respect doesn't do that. She's not reactive to every text. She doesn't seek validation in someone else's inconsistency. She moves with clarity. If a man pulls away, she doesn't chase, she observes. If a man plays games, she doesn't engage. She disengages. Not out of spite, but because she knows her energy is sacred. That energy is powerful. It's the kind of energy that makes a man rethink how he's showing up. He starts to realize that effort is the entry fee to your world. That being around you isn't a given. It's a privilege. And that privilege is maintained by consistency, honesty, and respect. The moment he senses that you have options, not because you say it, but because your actions show it, he becomes more intentional. Because people value what they believe they can lose. And when you act like a woman who's not afraid to walk away, you create the tension that makes him step up. It's not about being perfect. It's about being unavailable to the wrong treatment. You don't have to fight to prove you're worthy. You already are. And when you carry yourself that way, a man either rises to meet you or he fades out of the picture. Either outcome is a win because you're filtering out what doesn't align with your value. And that's what creates space for the right kind of relationship to come in. A man becomes addicted to a woman who holds herself to a high standard, not because she demands it from him, but because she quietly enforces it for herself. He sees that she's not needy, she's not dependent on his approval, she's not measuring her worth by whether or not he texts back. She's rooted. And that grounded energy is magnetic. It's also inspiring. A man who's serious about love wants to be around someone who challenges him to grow. He doesn't want someone who accepts mediocrity. He wants someone who inspires excellence, not through pressure, but through example. When you show that you have a full life, clear boundaries, and no tolerance for emotional chaos, he steps into a higher version of himself to match you. That's how you build something real, not through control, but through self-respect. When a woman respects herself, she teaches people how to treat her, not through lectures, but through her decisions. She doesn't explain her standards repeatedly. She enforces them once, then walks away when they aren't honored. And that silence, that graceful exit, speaks louder than any argument ever could. What makes a man addicted isn't just beauty or chemistry. It's the feeling he gets when he knows he has to earn your presence. It's the quiet realization that you won't always be there waiting, that you are not an option to be chosen when convenient. You are a prize that requires effort, consistency, and integrity. That realization creates emotional gravity. He starts to feel that he's the one who stands to lose something special, and that shifts everything, because at the end of the day, a man doesn't truly value what he doesn't have to work for. And when he sees that your love is a gift, not a guarantee, he starts showing up differently. He becomes more thoughtful, more present, more invested. Not because you begged him to change, but because your self-respect set the standard, and he either rose to it or lost the chance. And that's what makes you unforgettable. That's what makes him come back, think about you, crave another chance if he ever let you go, because your presence is rare. And self-respect is the very thing that made it so. There's a certain magic in not giving everything away all at once. In today's world, where people often overshare too quickly, there's something incredibly attractive about a woman who holds a bit of herself back, not out of fear or manipulation, but out of confidence and self-awareness. When you reveal yourself in layers, you create space for intrigue, curiosity, and emotional investment. You become someone he wants to discover, not just someone he knows. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's not about being intentionally confusing or emotionally unavailable. It's about letting someone earn deeper access to who you are. When a man feels like he's unlocking a deeper part of you slowly over time, he becomes more invested. He starts paying closer attention. He listens more carefully. He asks better questions. Because suddenly, you're not just telling him who you are, you're inviting him to experience who you are, one step at a time. We live in a world obsessed with instant connection. But when everything is instant, nothing feels special. When you meet someone and give them your entire life story, your dreams, your pain, your past heartbreaks, and your expectations all at once, it might feel like intimacy, but it's actually overload. What builds real closeness isn't a flood of information. It's the slow, steady unfolding of someone's essence. And that slow reveal is what makes a man lean in. It makes him want to keep showing up because he senses there's more to you than he's seen so far. A woman with depth is unforgettable. She's not trying to impress. She's not trying to prove anything. She just is. She allows space for mystery to breathe. She shares her thoughts and emotions in a way that's real but measured. She doesn't rush to fill silence or overshare to fill gaps. She allows him to earn each layer of her soul, and in doing so makes each moment with her feel meaningful. This doesn't mean you withhold affection or guard yourself so tightly that no one can reach you. It means you let him earn your trust over time. You allow emotional closeness to build naturally. You let the relationship unfold instead of fast-forwarding to the end. That patience creates power. Because while others might be giving everything away on the first few dates, you're letting something more valuable grow. Emotional tension, anticipation, and the thrill of truly getting to know someone. Men become addicted to women who make them feel like they're on a journey. Not a puzzle to be solved, but an experience to be felt. When you can share enough to create connection, but not so much that you become an open book on the first page, you invite him into something rare. And rare is what keeps people coming back. Think about the last time you were truly captivated by someone. Chances are, it wasn't because they told you everything immediately. It was because you sensed layers. You could feel there was more to them. You wanted to know their story, their thoughts, their truth. That's the energy that makes someone unforgettable. And it's the same energy that makes a man crave more time with you. A lot of people fear that being mysterious means they won't be understood or accepted. But the truth is, mystery isn't about hiding. It's about pacing. It's about knowing that the most meaningful connections are built over time, not in a rush. It's about giving someone the honor of discovering who you are, piece by piece. And here's the most beautiful part. The more he discovers, the more addicted he becomes. Not because you're giving him a performance, but because you're revealing your heart, your mind, your quirks, your values genuinely, but selectively. That process bonds him to you. It creates a kind of emotional gravity that makes him want to stay close, to go deeper, to prove that he's worthy of accessing more of you. When a woman carries this kind of mystery and depth, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she's hard to get, but because she's deeply worth getting. Her energy feels rare, her presence feels intentional, and a man doesn't just want to be near her, he wants to understand her, to earn her, to be the one who gets closest to the part of her that not everyone sees. That's what makes you addictive. Not a perfectly crafted persona, not trying to be someone you're not, but showing up in your truth with grace, patience, and the wisdom to know that your soul is a gift to be unwrapped, not given away all at once. There's something completely disarming about a woman who radiates playful confidence. She's not trying too hard. She's not overthinking every word. She's simply enjoying herself, grounded in who she is, and bringing lightness to every room she walks into. That energy is contagious. It makes people feel at ease. And for a man, it becomes something he can't get enough of, because it gives him an emotional high that's rare in the seriousness of everyday life. Playfulness isn't about being immature. It's about being emotionally free enough to flirt, laugh, tease, and enjoy connection without constantly needing to control the outcome. It's the ability to turn a simple moment into a spark, a smile that lingers, a playful challenge, a witty comeback. It's the art of making everyday interaction feel exciting. When a woman brings that kind of energy, she becomes a source of joy. And people always want more of what makes them feel good. Confidence is at the heart of this behavior. Not the kind that's loud or showy, but the kind that says, I like myself. I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm not afraid to be seen. That kind of confidence lets you lean into connection without fear. It allows you to be present, spontaneous, and emotionally open. A man feels that. He notices when a woman isn't consumed by how she's being perceived, because it gives him permission to relax and be himself too. That emotional freedom becomes magnetic. A woman with playful confidence knows how to hold eye contact and smile without needing to be validated. She's not trying to impress. She's already impressed with herself. She can be flirtatious without being attached to the outcome. She can enjoy the moment for what it is, rather than where it's going. And that presence, that ability to dance in the energy of the now, makes her addictive. Men are drawn to women who bring out a lighter side of them. In a world full of pressure, expectations, and stress, a woman who can make him laugh, who doesn't take everything too seriously, becomes a kind of escape. Not in the sense of avoiding reality, but in the sense of elevating it. She becomes the moment in his day that he looks forward to. She makes the ordinary feel electric, and the more he experiences that around her, the more he associates her with joy. It's also about teasing in a way that invites connection. A woman who can playfully challenge a man without crossing into disrespect creates a tension that's both fun and flirty. She's not afraid to say, "You think you're charming, don't you?" with a smile that lets him know she's enjoying the banter. She can laugh at herself, she can laugh with him. That emotional agility makes her feel approachable and desirable at the same time. Playful confidence also shows in how she handles setbacks or awkward moments. She doesn't fall apart if a date goes sideways or if someone doesn't respond the way she hoped. She can roll with it. She can make light of it. And that shows emotional maturity. Because being playful isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about having enough inner strength to not let every little thing throw you off center. That kind of resilience is sexy. It tells a man, "I'm good either way. I'd love to connect with you, but I'm not dependent on you for my happiness." And that's what makes him addicted, because most people are either too closed off or too desperate for connection. But when a woman brings playful confidence to the table, she hits a rare balance. She's inviting, but not needy. She's open, but not overexposed. She's strong, but doesn't take herself too seriously. That balance creates emotional safety while keeping things exciting. Eventually, what keeps a man coming back isn't just the way you look, it's the way you make him feel. If he feels more alive around you, if he feels like the best version of himself when he's with you, he starts to crave your presence. You become a kind of emotional addiction. Because while the world can offer him stress, you offer joy. While others might weigh him down, you lift him up. And it all starts with that playful, feminine confidence, that spark in your eye, that ease in your laugh, that grace in the way you carry yourself. You become unforgettable not by trying to be perfect, but by being real and enjoying who you are in the process. That's the kind of energy that stays on his mind long after the conversation ends. That's what makes him want more.